Go for it. Amazing. Good to see you all. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for being fairly prompt on time as well. It's always like herding cats, these kind of things, and trying to get everyone in the same place at a similar sort of time. But I know what it's like, and I appreciate your time. So you should have. I am going to drop you. Actually, Saab, can you earn your keep as co-host and put everyone on mute for me? That'd be amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for your support today.
How do I do that?
You should have. If you drop into another training session to go through, if you look at participants, you should be able to see all the participants. And if you go and click next to them, you should be able to mute them all.
Oh, okay, doing that now.
Is that all right?
I'll make sure
Fabulous.
not to mute you.
Well, you can if you want. It's whatever. It might be a long session. Okay, so on your email, you were all emailed early this morning with a template, and hopefully you've got the template. Some of you will like it handwritten and printed it off and write it. I know what you like. That's absolutely fine. Or you can use the electronic version either in Google Docs or you can use it in Excel. If you didn't get the email or you didn't download the template, then I've just dropped it in the chat and you should all be able to see that in the chat now. So I just highly recommend you get it open, download and open, because you're going to be doing some work. My aim for this is a really good session, and I say that, but this is the one I really enjoy, and this is a couple of years old workshop, but I haven't done it since June last year. But actually, this is one of the ones I get the most fun out of as well. So it's quite, yeah, I like this one. This is a really good one. And I want you to, by the time we finish today's session, is have the majority of your plan penned out for 2023. So it is in about 60 minutes. We've got 53 minutes to go. So I will try at my very best to keep it on time. So if you can keep your eye on the chat as well, I'm going to close my chat window down because it doesn't help me. It's just blocking my view. That's really, really cool. Okay, so yeah, as I say, it's going to be about 60 minutes. We are recording it, and I will share the recording with you. You can keep the recording as long as you want and do what you want with it. You may want to watch it again. You may want to watch it in 6 months. Last year, I ran this session 2 or 3 times. We did it right at the beginning of the year. We did it halfway through the year, and I seem to do it twice, a couple of times in the middle of the year. But it's just really good to get you clarity, because the reality is, majority of people don't plan. They don't plan. They don't focus on their lives or their business. So that's the other thing to add. This is not just going to be about your business. This is about your personal life as well. I don't ever believe in compartmentalizing this stuff. I keep it all together, and that way I just find it is less stressful. As you know, my sessions are always interactive. So if you've got a question, just stick your hand up. Either physically stick your hand up and go the old school way, or if you know how to do it on using Zoom, just stick your virtual hand up as well, and I can see that, and I'll come to you as quick as I possibly can. Okay, so the reason why I love the workshop is, how many times do you say or catch yourself saying, oh my God, I can't believe how fast time is going. Oh my God, 2022 went by the flick of an eye. If we look at today, today's the 19th of January. Can you believe it's 19th of January? But what we've got about 2 weeks to go before the end of the month, and that's 1 month out of the 12 months gone already in 2023. And the reality is that people just don't tend to focus on the stuff that's going to get them closer to their dreams. And they're still surprised, and they still get upset and whinge when they never get to their dreams. And that's how crazy it is. When I say it out loud, it sounds completely obvious, and it's common sense. If you're not focusing on where you want to be and what your goals and dreams are, and making that happen on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, you're never going to get there. Of course you're not. But people still get very upset about it, very frustrated. Okay, now the first thing I'll say, the caveat for the session today is, whatever your goals and dreams are, that is absolutely fine. There is no right or wrong answer. There's no judgment from me. You're very welcome to share them. I'll be sharing you some of mine. If you don't want to share them, it's absolutely fine as well. But there's zero judgment. There's no right or wrong answer. Whatever your plans are, whatever your bucket list, your dreams are, whatever that looks like, that's absolutely fine. There is no right and wrong answer, and I have to state that now, because people get really anxious about it. There's absolutely no. It's whatever you want. It's whatever you want to get out of this 2023. So as I said, you are welcome to share your goals if you want to as we're going through, but it is completely up to you. You can keep them in private as well. It's not a problem at all. So I see a lot of burnt out people who are stressed as they have dreams and goals, but they just never get any closer to them. And so what I want to do is, the aim of this session today, for these 60 minutes, is to have a quick refocus. I want to refocus you on making this year the best year we possibly can, and get what you want out of it, basically. So I'm sure you've all heard the old saying that your business is either growing or dying, and there's no in between. And I know exactly which one I prefer. So you don't want to be treading water. You always want to be growing and just attacking life as much as you possibly can. Because if you're not, you're contracting, you're shrinking, and you are dying. And yeah, I've said already, I know which way I would rather be. So it is, as always, it's about developing ourselves. And then if we develop ourselves, then we can develop our businesses in turn as well. So, quick question for you all. In the chat, just put in 3 words, how was 2022 for you? I did warn you, there's audience participation. So you're limited to 3 words. Tell me now, how was 2022? Obviously, this is a safe space as well. Whatever's in the chat stays in this meeting. It won't go anywhere else. It's never displayed in the recordings and stuff like that. So start typing in. Who's going to go first? Cool, like that. Angela, always you uses more than 3 words. Yeah, absolutely like that though. Yeah, nice, Kate. Yeah, cool, Sub. Nice. Nice, Rashta. Nice, Gina. Gina, I'm calling you as well. That's 4 words at least there. Nicola, that's definitely more than 3 words as well. But, fair play to you. Can you see the gist of all of your responses on there? You've all done it to everyone, not just to me, which is great. So you can all see, and you can see the word challenging is a theme. It's sprung up a few times. Opportunity, I like. Scary, we'll talk about scary stuff later. Learning, growth, personal development. It's all my favorite words are in there, but you can see there's very much a similar theme there. The whole point is we want it to be challenging. We want it to be scary. We want it to be bloody rewarding as well. And rewarding doesn't always have to be measured in pounds and pence or dollars. It can be so many different ways. So yeah, okay, appreciate that, guys. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so I'm going to skip through this quite quickly. You all know who I am. I don't think there's anyone on here who I don't know. I will be sharing a recording with everyone who registered seats. There's about 20 seats registered. So there will be some people who are watching this who don't know who I am. So I'll just click through very, very quickly. So obviously that's me. That's me and the boss. So Kate is joining us today. It gives me great pleasure to get Kate onto one of my sessions. I think this is actually the first session you've ever done, Kate. So no doubt I'll hear all about this later. And this is pretty much the highlight of my year or our year from 2022. So we made a plan back in December 21 that we wanted to spend at least 1 night away every single month from the family home. And we did it. We smashed it in 2022. Obviously means we've got some bigger targets and bigger challenges to go for this year, for 2023. But so this was us back in Thailand, back in the summer. That's the big Buddha down in Phuket. I love this picture because it makes Kate look like an absolute childlike with the size of Kate compared to me and that big massive helmet on her head. But you know what? This was us Christmas Day on the boat, which is also this amazing island where we spent on an island called Koh Pha on Christmas Day this year, which was amazing last year. This was us in Camden. Kate had never been to Camden Market, this place I used to live, and walk around the market. And I didn't realise at the time, I found that later, I got bloody COVID, but one of those things that happens. This was in the back of a tuk-tuk in Bangkok. This was at the Fisherman's Palace at Budapest, which is a place I've never been to, and we went there in May. And then these are my 3 kids. So I'd obviously been married before. Caris is 25 and she's a flight lieutenant in the RAF. Theo, my boy, or Man Mountain as he likes to get called, he doesn't like to get called, but he does end up getting called, is 21, lives in Manchester, has just finished last summer a business computer science degree, and he's working full-time in Nando's. He's now realised he's not enjoying Nando's. He wants to go back into coding and stuff, so he's on the market looking for jobs. And then Maisie is my oldest, who's 28, and lives about 10 minutes away from us when we're at home. And works in hospitality and catering and absolutely loves it. The nicest soul in the world and just loves it all entirely. But as you can see, nothing happened by chance last year. Everything done was planned for. The other thing that Kate did last year is Kate launched a business after being in accountancy for 20 odd years working for lots of different people. She finally took the big step in February last year and launched her business. So she's coming to the end of her financial year. So again, amazing. We did all this as part of our goals for last year as well. And actually today is the 3-month anniversary of when we left the UK as well. Well, we both left the UK. Kate's been back for a month in between around Christmas time. End of November, middle of November to the middle of December. And I've been here ever since. So yeah, that was 3 months ago, which is quite bizarre. So it is important that anything you want to do, you've got to plan it. So if you've got dreams or you've got bucket list stuff, anything that you want to do, you have to plan it. You have to incorporate this stuff into your calendar, the here and now. Otherwise, guess what happens? Absolutely nothing. So, and I love this. You guys know, I love my quotes. I love my saying. So energy flows where attention goes as determined by intention. I'm sure you've heard the quote before. Tony Robbins likes to claim he uses it all the time and claims he made it, but he only tends to use the first bit. Energy flows where attention goes. And I love the full quote, having that determined by intention on the end, because it just goes to show you've got to be focused. Where your energy flows and your attention goes and you're determined and it's getting your intention, good stuff happens. So it is very, very important. So I'm going to ask you all a question, is why do we set goals? What is the point of setting goals in the first place? So if you want to just type it into the chat, guys, why do you think it's important to set goals? Cool. Take that. Any more? Yeah, absolutely. That's a really big one, Haley. Nice one. Motivation. Yeah, Rasha, measure growth. Yeah, absolutely. Any more for any more? Yeah, Angela, spot on. Yes, Nicola. So Angela put to get clarity. Nicola, motivation to reach them. Saba helps you achieve great things. Absolutely. If you don't have a plan, you're not going to be motivated. You're not going to have that routine. You don't know, you don't understand, like Rash just put on there, are you actually getting closer? Are you progressing the business? Is it how you know where you're getting anywhere? So it's really, really important that we have goals. And again, there's a stat out there, something like 88% of businesses don't have an effective plan. They might have plans, but they've been sat in drawers. They were created 5 years ago. They've not been touched ever since. So once we have clear visibility of where we want to go, we can create a plan to start to see you achieving goals. And when you put things on paper, you've written these things out into the universe, magical things happen. And I will be covering vision boards later on during this session as well. So many people go through life just reacting to everything around them. And what they're doing is living by default. And as we've said already, they are not in control of their life. They moan, they fall into victim mode, I like to call it. These are the people out there who worries me. You know, everything's bad around them and they don't ever do anything. They don't take any positive steps to change the shit that's going on for them as well. And that's why it's really bad. Now, this is the point where I always start ranting. I absolutely hate New Year's resolutions. And I know, Saab, we've had this conversation. I say it now. I've said it every year for I don't know how many years. The reason why I hate New Year's resolutions is Christmas comes and then we have this New Year, New You bullshit. And what I call it bullshit for is that people will then start to think for the only time of the year is how they can make their life better. What are the goals? What do they want to improve on? How can they target themselves? And they have all the intention they want to go and change, and they want to change their lives. And I get that. It makes a lot of sense. But then the majority have simply given up on their resolutions by the third week in January. And I think the date is actually today. It's the 19th of January, where the majority of people have actually given up on their resolutions. They've hit some objections for the first time. And basically, the tragic thing is that they then wait until next year before they do anything about setting new goals and resolutions. They just sit and wait for another year. Nice, like that, Saab. So Saab said, I'm discussing this very topic, failed resolutions, in my problem-solving post today. Spot on, absolutely. So yeah, people just then write off the whole year. So imagine sitting here today at the 19th of January and not thinking about anything for the next 330 days or whatever we've got rest of the year. It just doesn't make any sense. It's not logical in any way. And that's why I passionately hate resolutions. So all they're doing is they're writing off the year. It's crazy. So I do claim that New Year, New You is a load of bullshit. So I am sorry, but it's just absolutely. So every minute and every hour is an opportunity to change your life. You don't have to wait till the 1st of January, 31st of December. Every hour and every minute is a chance to change. So if we take a step back, just think what's happened in the last 3 years. If you think where the world's been, the globe we've all been through in the last 3 years, it's absolutely crazy. If I'd said to you 4 years ago, we're going to go through the next 3 years like this, you would never have believed me. You would just start making it up. I'm talking just complete woo-woo. And if you look, there's places that are still suffering today and pandemic. I'm not going to go talk about COVID and pandemic in any particular reason, but I'm just saying now there's some still areas that are struggling right now. But it's all about taking the learnings we can from what we've been through. And I'd say the biggest thing we can learn is better planning, or maybe even starting to plan, maybe for the first time. It's important to clarify exactly what you want and where you want to be and how you're going to get there so that you can make your life by design. And this is the difference. And this is where I want to be, having that statement, I want to be here, having the end in mind and working all the way backwards. And that is an absolute game changer. When you start to think with the end in mind and work backwards where you are today and how you can get there, it's an absolute game changer, honestly. So I will challenge you as well on where you want to be, as too many people limit themselves and just don't have big enough plans or dreams. They limit themselves based on their pasts and also their identities, which they cling on to. And they don't want to be too daring or too, people think about failure far too much and they limit themselves. So what I'm asking you to do is draw a line in the sand as to where you are right now. And let's start all over again from a complete blank page with a fresh pair of eyes. Because the problem with setting too small goals is that the majority of people actually hit them. And think about it, if you set yourself too smaller goals and you start hitting them, it's a real problem because you are absolutely holding yourself back. So imagine if you set yourself a target, and it could be, the target could be that you want to increase your turnover by 250%. And at the end of the year, you've only increased it by 230%. Are you really going to be that pissed off and frustrated that you haven't got to 250%? I know I wouldn't be, because at the end of the day, your business has grown by 230%. I'm going to be over the moon. And the other thing to think about, the other factor that's really important is, and I talk about this in my coaching sessions all the time, it's not just about hitting the goal. It's also about the journey, the journey that gets us to that destination as well. That's really, really important. Okay, so as you can see in front of you now, this is the plan for today. There's 3 things. So yes, there are some tasks. I hate the word homework, but there are some tasks I'm going to make you do. First thing is we're going to create a lifestyle design plan. We're then going to, number 2 is create your action planner. Oh, not for 2022, for 2023. I missed that earlier. And number 3, we're going to transform this into a vision board. We probably won't get a chance to do vision boards now, but that'll be a task that I'll leave outstanding for you. And I want to see them shared. So don't just think, because we're not doing the session, the vision boards aren't important, because they really, really are. And I want to see them. So those are 3 things we're going to cover over the next 35 minutes. So anyone's in my coaching program at MG Momentum, you'll see this, you've known this already. Definition of success is 80% the mindset and 20% of the strategy. It just goes to demonstrate how freaking important your mindset is, and having your mindset in the right place. It is so important. 80% of success is down to your mindset, and just 20% is your strategy. The strategies of how you're going to get there, I'm not going to be covering today. That's not what this session is about. If you are already a client, as you all are on here, then I've got your back and you're covered on strategies. If you're not yet a client, fear not, we can chat about it later. That's absolutely fine. And if you're watching the recording, the same goes to you. But it's not all about the strategies. It's how about you think about the strategies. Okay, I've talked about the template, so you should have the template in front of you. I shared it on email. It's also in the chat, or you may have printed it off or whatever, however you're going to do it. What I want you to start to think about now is I want you to think about what your biggest goal, what's the biggest goal you want to achieve for 2023? It doesn't have to be business. It doesn't have to be business related at all. It could be down for you personally. So start to think about what you want to be, your biggest goal for this year. And again, it could be financial. It could be a destination you want to go to. It could be something for your family. It could be anything. And again, as I said, all right, at the beginning, there's no right or wrong answer. It is very, very personal. It is just down to you. I've said again already, this session isn't just about setting business goals. It's about everything. I don't believe in trying to compartmentalize your life, as I just find it too stressful. I've done that before. You keep everything as a 360-degree view, life, personal life, business, family, all that good stuff. We keep it as one, and it's much easier to manage and much less stressful. So you all know I hate paper. I don't use anything to do with paper, but everything I'm going to show you today, it's all electronic, but I'm going to show you, lift the lid up and show you everything that goes on in my planning as well. And then I've covered it already, but I love the old saying that if your goals aren't so big, they absolutely scare you, then you're probably just not setting big enough goals. So as you'll probably get the gist of already, I'm all about setting big ass goals that are going to challenge you, scare you, push you, develop you, and just challenge you for the next 12 months. So it's definitely not about setting you up to fail, but it's more that you are so much more capable of achieving so much more than you are ever going to know. So just by having these goals and challenging yourself, you'll start to be surprised very, very quickly. Now, I'm sure we've all experienced the little voice in the side of your head, could be on your shoulder, the left-hand side of your head normally, which is the self-doubt. We all have it, absolutely fine. It is completely normal. But when it happens, just stop and don't overthink things. So when you're thinking about those goals for 2023, or the biggest goal for 2023, don't overthink it. Trust your heart, trust your gut, and go with the first thought that comes into your head. And that's what it's all about. So if we hit the template now, let me just swap my share. Okay, so what I want to do, okay, so you can all see my screen in front of you now. This is the middle tab. So the third tab is LDP, which stands for Lifestyle Design Plan. Got the year right there. So what I want you to do here is B3 is to put your biggest goal for this year. And it could be you want to say, I want to set my goals now between now and the end of 2023, or you want to say, do you know what, between now and the end of January 2024, quite scary saying 2024, but it'll be on us quite quickly. So start to write in what your number one dream is going to be. If you've got more than one, and often I've seen this before with people come up with more than one, and that's absolutely fine. It's not a problem at all. So just put them, put that, if you've got another one, put it in B4. And if you've got a third one, you just show it off, but put it in B5, and that's really, really cool. I've covered up the other side because we don't need to be looking at that right now. What I want you to do is to focus on these cells here. Okay, so this is your number one target for 2023, and that should be in B3. And I will give you a few minutes to get this done, guys. Let me put my camera back on so you can see you all thinking about it and writing it. That's cool. So yeah, start to think about your number one goal for this year. Now, is anyone brave enough to share it? I'm not going to force you to. You are very welcome to share it in the chat if you want to. If you don't want to, absolutely fine. It's not an issue at all. Go on, Tob. Do you want to check it in the chat, or do you want to unmute yourself and tell us? You're very welcome.
I don't mind, because I think if I say it out loud, it must be true.
Absolutely.
By the 31st of December 2023, I will be financially free. And what that looks like for me is not being able to, not owing the banks or credit cards a penny. They're all paid off, and not having to look at the price tag when I go to a restaurant, book a holiday, just live my life without having to look at any price tags.
Great goal. I love it. And also part of that goal is being in Thailand for the month of December, I believe.
Yes, it is. And that will be happening for my husband's 50th.
Okay, I think we should get a retreat going for next December out in here. That's another story. We'll talk about that later. Amazing. That's a great goal. Anyone else? You're welcome to share, guys. It's not a problem if you don't want to. I shan't force you to. I'll give you another 30 seconds or so.
I've got, sorry, the kids are making so much noise. I'm trying to, I didn't want to like scare you all.
It's all
I've
right, keep
got
going.
all debt. I've got by October. I'd like to have all debt cleared. Debts, business loans, credit cards, etc. I'd like to be settled in a big house in New Zealand with a garden, 5-bed, and have a 3-month holiday planned as per at some point this year. There's no
Amazing.
expectation on that. Okay, well you can do 1 month. 1 month is good too.
Stop that.
And I want to be coaching.
Remember.
I want to be coaching 3 to 4 days a week.
I'll take that. That's the first time you've said that to me. That's amazing.
Making 50k on that pounds would be perfect.
Okay.
You said aim high.
Absolutely. Without any shadow of doubt, because you find that when you push yourself, like I said already, if you said you want to grow your business by 250% and you only get 230%, you're not going to be pissed off. So you know what? If you're coaching 4 days a week, that'll be amazing. The difference it will make to your life is huge. God, it's all going crazy here at the moment. Hope there's not too much background noise, guys, but it's all kicking off the reception for some reason. Okay, right. Anyone else want to share, or I will move on?
I'm happy to share mine. Number one goal is to have a successful coaching program for the next 12 months.
Okay.
Be debt-free, and in my other business, be 1-star director in my travel business. So.
Okay. I love it. Great goals. Thank you for sharing. Gina?
I wanted to share. I thought it's quite interesting because we all have pretty similar goals. So the first thing I wrote down is clear debt. The second thing I wrote down is 1 international trip, and then 50 paying clients by the end of the year.
Ooh, I like that one. Yeah, that's nice. Where would you go internationally?
Oh my word. Anywhere at this point. Anyway, cool. I need to figure that one out.
Yeah. Cool. Hayley, if you mute yourself for a reason.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, short term, I just want to get back on track because I've been out of it for quite a while. Yeah. And my goal is to build a business, probably as a brand.
Yep, nice. Yeah. You won't mind me saying you've made it clear you've had a tough period of time, and it's time to change now. And it's good to see you back. So I am very appreciative you are here today. So fair play to you. Okay, I will keep going, guys. Yep, that's cool. Okay, so the most important thing is not the most important thing now with what you've just done is that you're doing something. You are taking action. You're making the most important decision right here and right now that 2023 is going to be the best year of your life. We all have to forget what's going on around the globe. It's happening all over the world. So many interesting stories we're hearing over here. But if you're watching the news on a daily basis or wherever you are in your local area, it's just going to slow you down, and just don't allow this kind of stuff to slow you down. If you turn on any news or read any paper, and I can't remember the last paper I read, but it's about recession, rising prices in the shops, the food's getting more expensive, energy prices. I don't even need to explain what the energy prices are doing. You guys know better than me. Price of petrol. I've got no idea what the price of petrol is in the UK. I'm scared what it's going to be like. Housing market collapsing. It is just doom and gloom in the press. I'm not going to start on the politics, as I'll be ranting until next week, but we've all got the power in our own hands to change our lives and change our destinies right now. And that's what you've got to appreciate. The power that you've got at this time now is to turn all this shit around. And you've got the power to turn your life around. It's just taking that action, taking that positive step and getting it done. I highly recommend you don't watch the news, you don't read the news, you don't listen to news on the radio, and just switch off. If it's something that bloody important, you're going to hear about it anyway. So you know what? I'm an Apple user, as I'm sure you all know, and we use Apple News, and I've got it very cleaned down to get just the bits and pieces I want to know, and it's very little about politics. It's just more general stuff that's going on there, and it's a very light touch. And it makes you realize how much of the stuff in the news is actually not news, and it's just opinions. That's a whole different story. And I think over the past 3 years, we've all slipped into survival mode. due to the pandemic and the lockdowns and all that stuff that happened. That was crazy. It feels like a lifetime ago, but we are still all in that survival mode. And what we've got to do is reframe our mind, have that reset and move. We've got to flip the switch. And what we need now is our mindset to be into thrival mode. And this is absolutely different. It's so different. It needs that switch. And we've forgotten, it's too easy to forget what we were like prior to 2020. But you've got to make the decision right now and use your heart and not your brain. Your heart is much wiser than your brain. I'm not going to go into any more detail around this. That is another session we can do later on. Your heart starts beating before the brain is even formed. So again, we've talked about your biggest goals for 2023. I'm sure it's coming from your heart. So when that little self-doubting voice pops up in your head, questioning whether you are even capable or even deserving of this success, block it out. Don't listen to it. This is just your conscious mind trying to protect you and keep you safe. And as I said, this is what the session's about. We'll discuss it another time. But right now, I just want you to focus all on setting goals. I've talked about there's no right or wrong answers. I firmly believe I want you to trust your gut. Your gut instinct is the one. Wherever in my life I've made mistakes, things have been bad decisions, or I've lost money, it's because I've gone against my gut reaction. I can give you story after story scenario that's happened to me, and it's cost me dearly one way or the other. And it's always been because I've gone against my gut reaction. And surprisingly, since I've started listening to it and trusting it, all that stopped. So your gut reaction is very, very important. And don't think about setting goals for yourself and what you can make and how much money you can make, and think about how you can serve and help other people, as this makes a massive difference. So I'm sure you've all heard the 10,000 starfish story, but I love this, and it makes this is a real important part of where we are right now, and it impacts on you as to why everything is so important. So if you haven't heard the 10,000 starfish story, a young girl was walking along a beach upon which thousands and thousands of starfish had been washed up during a terrible storm overnight. When she came to each starfish in turn, she picked them up and she tossed them back into the ocean, and people watched her with amusement. She'd been doing this for some time, and a man who'd been watching her approached her and said, "Little girl, why are you doing this? Look at this beach. You can't possibly save all these starfish. You can't begin to make a single bit of difference." Now, this obviously crushed the little girl. She was deflated. But after a few minutes, she bent down. She picked up another starfish and hurled it as far as she could into the ocean. Then she turned around, looked at the man, and replied, "Well, I made a difference to that one, didn't I?" So the old man looked up at the girl inquisitively and thought about what she'd done and what she said to him. Inspired, he then joined the little girl in starting to throw the starfish back into the sea. And then soon other people who were watching joined in as well. And before no time, all the starfish were saved. This is how I want you to start thinking. It's all about changing lives one at a time, building on this, and to see how you can start building momentum with everything that you do. And again, anyone who's in my coaching program, you are all in or have been in my coaching program, you know it's all about that helping and serving people. It's all about changing people's lives. So think of the starfish story, the 10,000 starfish is what drives me and focuses me all the time. Okay, so if you've created your headline goal now for 2023, I challenge you to double it and to think big. Just remember, the trouble is that not setting goals too big. It's that the trouble is not setting goals too big and not hitting them. It's that we set goals so low that we actually achieve them, and they will all forever hold you back. Humans, by their very nature, make our minimums our maximums, and we just coast along and live in our days. And I'm sure we can all relate to that. So trust me, as you all know, I am far from perfect, and I too have this focus on my mind, and I use this tool, the template, to constantly remind myself. It's not about achieving the goal as a primary focus, it's about the journey and the way to achieve it. But there are two parts here. What is your goal? But also think about why you want to achieve this. Well, what is your why? And as you will see on the template, You've got your why goes in B6. So under B6 or B7, B8 and B9, that is where you can fill in what your why is and what is driving you to get there. Now, just remember, just think, what do we have more control over? What you can get or what you can give? Which do you have the control over? What you can get or what you can give? Of course, it's obvious we only have full control over what we can give. You have no control over what you can get. You can influence it, but you don't have control over it. And this is where people go so wrong and end up living unhappy, unfulfilled lives due to the fact that they focus on what they're getting and not what they can give, who they can help and who they can serve. So I'll come back to template in a second. If I just flip back onto the slides. As you know, I like a good motivational quote. So this one is from Muhammad Ali. I hope you all know who Muhammad Ali is, the ex-boxer. So service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Very, very powerful. And people forget along the way to be thankful for what they already have and who to help and serve and how to serve others. Okay, so we've done the first part of your LDP or your lifestyle design plan. We'll get rid of the camera. Okay, so what I want you to do now is I want you to go into the 12-month goal, 12-month goals tab. So as you can see here, I'm clicking on the 12 months goals. Let me open this up. So what I want you to start doing now, it's a bit bigger, so you can see all the cells. So it's very, very straightforward, but all you want you to think about now is column A. I broke it down into different sections. So you've got financial, you've got health, you've got relationships, you've got lifestyle, you've got mindset, and you've got spiritual. So what I want you to start thinking about is what are the goals you want to set yourself around financial for this year, and write them in, type them in, write them in. So you'll be doing A5, A6, A7 for financial. For health, it'll be A9, A10, A11. Relationships, 13, 14, 15. Lifestyle, 17, 18, 19. Mindset, 21, 22, 23. And then spiritual, 25, 26, and 27. This is where it's easier slightly if you do it on the electronic version on the spreadsheet, and I'll show you why. So if you want to just, I'll keep talking, you start writing in some of your goals, please. That'll be really, really cool. It's completely normal. Now I'm giving you that task, but you start having foggy brain and you suddenly, everything's gone out your head and you can't think of anything. Absolutely, I get it. But just start the process and it will get easier. The fog will go and it will start to flow. Right now, just top level goals is fine. Let's start with those because it's going to be good progress for you. And don't overthink it. I will give you 5 minutes or so to get this filled in. And I want you to create up to 3 goals for each headline. You may not have all the 3 goals for each area. I get that, each of the categories, but do as many as you possibly can. And again, I like my quotes. Nike says, just do it. So I'll give you some ideas. Financial. So financial could be a certain amount of money in your bank account or the business bank account, or it could be both. And again, as always, it's not about being money motivated here. You know that. But this money will empower you to do good things, hire other people, more people, change more lives, etc., etc. Looking at health, health's quite straightforward. It could be maybe getting fitter. It could be that you're a smoker, you want to give up smoking. It could be you want to go to the gym 5 times a week. Relationships could be you want to get married. It could be a family stuff, like you want to have a trip and treat the family, go to Disney World, Disneyland in Florida. Lifestyle, it could be experiences. It could be things like you want to go on a hot air balloon flight. Right? Looking at the UK, hot air balloon, we'll talk about that in a minute. It could be canoeing. It could be a motorhome around the Scottish coast. It could be traveling. Mindset, I tend to think around, it could be you want to go and invest in coaching programs for yourself. It could be you want to read X amount of books or certain book, or there's a particular book you want to go and cover. It could be developing your mindset. Spiritual is normally the one that challenges people. And spirituality, to get my words out, means something different to us all. But to me, it means things like, you know, doing meditation. One of my goals last year was like meditating X amount of times, X amount of days, doing some yoga. And it could be doing different activities to enhance or build up your spirituality. So I will leave you to a couple of minutes. Start filling in column A, guys, on your 12-month goal. I'll give you till 16 minutes passes, about 2 minutes, just so I can make sure we finish on time. So let me chuck some in. This is where I hope you're all downloading it and you're not all using the same online version. You should all be overwriting each other's templates. It's always good fun because someone does it every single time. Right, a minute to go, guys. Do as much as you can. Cool. And see you're concentrating, which is good. Okay. You will obviously have, these are your templates to use, and they'll be very, very useful working documents and living documents for you for the rest of this year. So what I'm going to do, what's the next thing you do? Okay, so if you look here, so I've just put some fictitious targets on there just to give you the idea. So my number one target in A5 was to hit 100K in my business. Amazing. So when do I need to hit that? I'm going to copy it. I'm going to stick it in there, and that's going to take me 12 months. So I'm going to stick 100K in there. So it's gone. There we are. So what I've done, I've taken it from there, and I've worked out, you see here, we've got 6 to 12 months, 3 to 6 months, 9 to 12 weeks, 5 to 8 weeks, 0 to 4 weeks. So what we're doing is we're now dissecting our goals, our targets, and when we're going to hit them, how we're going to put it into our action plan to achieve these goals. So I want to do 5 sessions a week at the gym. Let's put it out of there. I'm going to start that now. That can start straight away. Stop smoking. Well, I'm going to need maybe some coaching, some hypnotherapy maybe. So I'm going to say that's going to take 3 months. And as you can see, I want to go to Disneyland. Gee, wouldn't mind going to Disneyland. Actually, no, I don't want to go to Disneyland. Disneyland, let's say, yeah, I'll do that in 12 months' time. I can save lots of money. Calsoc National Park and canoeing trip. Doing that this weekend. Amazing. I'll put that right here. And basically what you can see, I'm taking my targets out of column A, and all I'm doing now is putting them into B, C, D, E, F. And that's straightforward. So you're just breaking down your goals now and just dissecting exactly how much time you need to get these done. There's no point pushing everything back, and I see this every single time. Everyone moves their targets from here, the goals, and puts them all into 6 to 12 months. It's never going to happen in a million years. So be practical. You're only cheating yourself here. So if you've got something easy you can get done straight away in the next month, put it in column B. If you've got something to take you a little bit more time, maybe a month to 2 months, put it in column C. If you've got something that's going to take you between 3 months to 9 weeks, to 12 weeks, then you can pop it in column D. If it's going between the 3 to 6 months, it goes in E, and vice versa. The final one is 6 to 12 months for those longer type goals. Very, very straightforward, and get those completed. And again, if you haven't got it all done now, it's not a problem. It's yours. You can use this, and this will be your framework for the next 12 months. Okay, so Thanks, Sal. Appreciate that support. Okay, back to my slides. We're not going to be out of here on time, guys. I'm impressed. Okay, so these are your tasks that you're going to carry on with. If anything you haven't got done today, you're going to take away and get them done. The only one I want to see is your vision board. If you want to share your 12-month planner with me and your LDP, you're very, very welcome to. As I say, these will form part of your working, living documents for this year. If you, your vision board is what I'm really interested in, to just start seeing what you've created, because it's just so powerful. Okay, so I need to just flip back on. Hello, Simone, good to see you. Okay, so now we've done our 12-month goals. What I want you to do is take the goals from there and pop them into the second tab, which is your LDP. So we've already populated your number one dreams. So now what I want you to start doing now is thinking about your bucket list. What is your bucket list items? Most people have got bucket lists. Now, to me, you want to have two bucket lists. You have a bucket list for this year, and then you have your ultimate bucket list. I will go through it, Simone, and it's also recorded. So yeah, you'll be able to go back and watch the recording, which I'll share with you in the next 24 hours or so. So you want a bucket list for this year. This is stuff that you want to really achieve. And it could be, I don't know, it could be getting a new car. It could be that holiday Disneyland, if I can spell. Disneyland. It could be, your ultimate could be, this is where you'll find out how bad my spelling is. Own a Porsche. Let's go for 911. Amazing. Ultimate, buying a villa in Spain. I don't know. I'm just picking up some random ones here. So again, I've got some topics here and I'll give you a few minutes to complete this. Give me 5 minutes to start putting your bucket list stuff in. So it could be material things. It could be a physical achievement. It could be a geographical, could be an experience, could be a physical challenge for your health. It could be, I want to lose 10 kg. It could be something around the family. So what I want you to do first is to fill in this year. And again, your brain will go foggy. Trust me. You may only get to 5, you may only get to 8. That's fine. Do what you can do. But what you'll find is this will start to stimulate you for the bigger ass stuff that you want to do ultimately, and the really big stuff in your bucket list. And that'll be really, really useful. So if you can start filling in your column E, and as I say, I'll give you a few minutes. I'll give you till 25 past. I can see it's 21 minutes past now. I'll give you 25 past. Let's start working on your bucket list stuff. And then what I'll do at 25 past, I'll show you my bucket list, my vision board from last year, and I'll share my vision board for this year as well, and give you an idea. So you got about 3 minutes, guys. Also, don't limit yourself back by starting to think about how can I achieve this. This is not the time to think about that. We can work on that individually afterwards. Just start putting, live your life by design and list the experiences that you want to achieve. And as I say, don't worry about how you're going to achieve them. Something else I've seen that's really worked for people and I've picked up along the way as well is a good tip for you to help motivate you towards achieving all this stuff is to have a bucket list album on your Facebook profile. One for stuff you want to do and one for stuff you've achieved. And you can move stuff between one album to the next album. And that's quite cool. I've seen people do that successfully. So I mentioned it to you already. Your vision boards will be your homework to complete over the next couple of nights, and I do want to see them once you've completed them. About a minute, guys. I'm just trying to think what was on mine. So I'm just putting some examples on there. Want to go to Spain? Want to go to Portugal? I'd like to do Mexico. Like a new iPhone. Like, I'd love a new MacBook Pro. One of the new chips that were released, they announced this week. Amazing. Cool. Okay. So, how was that? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Starting to make some progress on that. Cool. Okay. So, has anyone created a vision board before? Is anyone skeptical about vision boards? Because trust me, 3 years ago, I'd been like that. Absolutely. Woo woo. It's not the kind of stuff I'm ever going to do. You're welcome to mute yourself, guys. Absolutely fine. I've seen loads of different ways to create vision boards. My preference, as you know, I hate paper, so I use Canva, and I'll show you mine. But I've seen some amazing paper ones. The whole point of a vision board is you can start to visualize what your goals and what your dreams are going to be for this year. So you want to have it somewhere that you can work from, and you can look at it multiple times. Nice, Rashja. I'm impressed. Cool. Nice, Nicola. Cool. Nice. Great, Angela. Thank you for that. So let me show you mine. So I'll start off with last year's, which is absolutely massive. Let me make that a bit smaller. Okay, so this was a vision board I did about this time last year. So 2022, this was going to Greece, and we ended up going to Crete, which was amazing. This was Budapest. We did that. Costa Rica didn't quite get there, but it's very much on my list for this year. Again, am I pissed off I didn't go to Costa Rica? Absolutely not. Is it driven me more to, I want to go to Central America? We both want to go to Central America, so absolutely. Financial level, I wanted in the business and personally. I wanted to start going to the gym more, which I did, but then obviously I've been away, and that's been a long distant memory. My plan was I was going to hire a Tesla for the month of December, but then obviously I've been in Thailand, so it hasn't been a factor. I've been using the scooter. Same colours, same colour red, but another story. This was us. I think this was 2021. Okay, was this 2021? We went to Scotland and we did the NC 500 behind this amazing camper van. I'd love to do it again, whether we hire one or whatever we do, and just travel around, because it was such a cool experience. It was just amazing. Kayaking we didn't do last year. We're finally going to get it done this weekend, which is amazing. Hot air ballooning, Kate bought me for my 50th birthday, and then with COVID and pandemics and everything else, we've just never managed to do it, but it's on the list and hopefully we can still do that. And then this was a picture I took of Bangkok when I was here the first time in December 2018. And as you know, we've done Bangkok and smashed Bangkok this year and just had a great time being in Thailand. So that's the first one. Let me just stop sharing that. I'll show you my new one, and I'll try and talk you through what we've got on here. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so here's 2023. So 2023 vision board is go. So as you can see, I've created mine on Canva. So I've just got a presentation slide, blank presentation slide, and then I've imported photos that I can stick on there. And it doesn't matter how you want it. down to you. It's very, very personal. And this basically sits on my desktop and I look at it 2 or 3 times a day in between meetings and stuff. So obviously 2023, this is Mexico. I just said about MacBook Pro. I love a new MacBook Pro. Mine's only a couple of years old, but the new ones look so amazing. The battery life is so much better. Absolutely. A couple of you know that I'm planning on launching a virtual mastermind, like a 2-day boot camp, which will be coming out probably towards the end of this quarter, which is very exciting. I want to hire a copywriter. I want a copywriter to run the business that help me and save me so much time. I want to hire a new coach for me, and that's what I'm working on actually at the moment. This is my iPhone. I've been paying. I had one of these crazy contracts with EE that was costing me somewhere in the region of 120 quid a month, and I've had it for 2 years. And it meant I could upgrade my phone at any time, which is an amazing contract. But then you suddenly realize you're trapped into these freaking contracts. You can't ever get out of it. I've actually just got out of it, and I've just switched it down to a SIM only, which is saving me like 120 quid a month, I think. So I want a new iPhone when I get back into the UK. This is Madrid. I'd love to go to Madrid. I want to go to Spain because I've not really done much in Spain. I'd love to go to Madrid, but that's on the cards. Portugal and Venice. Venice is a place I've been to such a long time ago. I can't even remember. Thailand. We're coming back to Thailand already, hopefully November, definitely December time, the end of this year. I'm spending the Christmas out here again. So I've got a financial target of what I want in the business and also personally. I also want to achieve another 6 countries out of my list. I'm one of those sad people who tracks how many countries I've been to, and it's only 20. So I want to get my number of countries up. I would like to be at 26 by the end of this year. This is a tattoo. I want a tattoo on my left arm before I leave. I want a tattoo on my left arm before I leave Thailand. So that's probably going to happen next week. It's not a template, Angela. It's just, I've just used a blank presentation slide because of the size of it on Canva. And then I've just stuck my images on there. I've just imported images and I've grabbed some of them on Canva. So I haven't shared this with you guys before, but I actually had my first tattoo last week or the week before. So as you can see, it's 3 mountains and the sun, which is done by Bamboo. I'd forgotten. It sounds really bad, but in the moment I chose an amazing design. I'm just very blessed that there was 3 mountains on there and I got 3 kids. So my kids were like, oh my God, I hope one of those is me. I think, yeah, of course it is. And then my son came back, I better be the small one. Yeah, of course you are, son. It's absolutely fine. It was a close call. It was a close call. Thanks, Simone. Oh, there we are. Simone's saying they do actually have templates on Canva for vision boards. I have never looked at them. I'm not being funny. You can just stick pictures on as much as you. I want it to be quite random. Anyway, let's keep going. So I want to be hiring 2 coaches. Minerva Growth wants. I want there to be 3 coaches by the end of the year. So I don't want to be doing all the coaching myself. I want to be. We can scale so much more and help and serve so many more people by having more coaches. So I'm looking for 2 coaches. I am, what else? And that's it. That's my vision board for this year. So they don't take long. I found last year that I did 2. So the first one got smashed quite quickly, and then I made a bigger one with bigger targets on there again. It's up to you how many times you make a vision board, but vision boards are so cool, and it just works really, really well. So I'm not sure if I've got any more to go through, but we are on time, so we're doing okay. Right, where is there we are. Okay. So yeah, Canva works really, really well. That is good. Okay, so what I want you to do, as you say, I want you to finish off your 12-month planner. I want you to make sure you've completed your LVP. So you've got all those things in the middle. You've got your vision board on there. Once you've got your bucket list and you've got your ultimate bucket list, you don't need to worry about the other side because that's going to be your vision board. So you can just cross them across, transfer them across from your LVP, from the bucket list across your vision board. And then you've got an ultimate vision board as well. That's all straightforward. So the main point on here is to get your vision board done and shared with me. That'd be really great. You may know now, I like a good quote. So Napoleon Hill, I'm sure you're aware of who Napoleon Hill is, but whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. I can't stress to you how important your mindset is. So just bear that in mind. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. So powerful. And that's it, guys. Do we have any questions? I call this Q&A or the Angela session. Unmute yourself, Gina. I saw you first. Go for it. Absolutely fine.
Hi, Rich. Because I was doing it in the car, we were on the way somewhere. I couldn't download and work on the thing itself, so I'm going to do that in a moment. If I've got questions with it as I go along, do I just send it on? I'll try and figure it out by myself, but if I do need them, can I send it on the Voxer?
Yes. Yes, of course you can. That's absolutely fine. Yeah. One question at a time, not 17 bloody questions, please. Cool. Yeah, of course you can. Absolutely. It's all fairly straightforward.
Thanks.
And these things always look more complicated when you start doing it yourself. It's really straightforward. Cool. Great question. Thank you, Gina.
Thanks.
I'm trying to think how to ask this, but I see you have combined personal with business. Is there a reason that you've combined it together and you don't have separate business and separate personal?
I'll try and answer it as quick as I can. It's a long-winded answer to a great question. 10 years ago or so, when I was in the corporate world, we had this thing about the work-life triangle. So you had your personal life, your family life, and then business. And the problem was, I found it really impossible trying to juggle 3 different things. If I look at everything as one entity, that's much easier. I don't think, right, Monday to Friday, I'm working 9 till 5. To me, if I want to do some work on a Sunday, I'll do some work on a Sunday. I look at everything in my life, my personal life, my kids, my family, Kate, business as one thing. So I just manage one thing rather than trying to juggle 3 different things. That's the only reason why. That works for me. It may not work for you, but I've just found that much easier and much simpler in my head to keep things simple, stupid. I just manage it as one thing, and I juggle it all together because for me, you can see there's a lot of travel. There's a lot of travel aspirations again for this year. I want those 6 extra countries. I want all that stuff. Then I'll be doing it as I'm working as well. So it's all quite similar.
Perfect. Thank you.
Next. No problem at all. Great question. Thank you. Anyone else? Amazing. Look at that. Go on, Saab. I can see you building up to it.
No, I just wanted to say thank you because this is one thing I struggle with. Just the whole thing you mentioned about fog. Why is it when we want to do something for ourselves as coaches or as human beings, you just zone out? You know, you can give all the advice to our clients, but when it comes to you, but this template, I'm having great fun with this. I think it's brilliant because it's like journaling. You can pour it all out and
absolutely.
I'm really impressed by this. Thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. I think the answer is the minute you start thinking for yourself, then your brain, your conscious mind is trying to protect you, and it always wants you to be safe. But the problem is, our lives are so freaking safe now that it makes you so safe, and it's tapping into the unconscious mind. So the minute that's why you don't wait. Whatever comes in your head first, just start writing it. It's like journaling, exactly the same. Just start writing and getting it down, and then as you start to flow, it's going to start to flow and come out of you, and it's much easier. And that's what it's all about. Having a template that you can use time and time again. I've used a template now for 2, maybe 3 years. I've tweaked it briefly this morning by updating the dates, the year. That's it. And I saw your question. I will come on to that in a second. It's just an easy way to format, because then you've got a template which shows you your next 12 months plan on one page. It's simple, stupid. Don't make anything overcomplicated. You'll never use it. I've worked with some amazing companies in the past, and I work with some amazing people now, obviously like you guys, but people who, ask for the business plan and they can't find the business plan. They'll go and find the bottom of the dusty filing cabinet they've not opened in years, and they bring out this big, massive, dusty folder and they'll shove it on the table. And they've spent thousands of pounds getting this business plan done. But all they've done is they've shoved it in a drawer and they never looked at it again. So to me, you want to keep everything as simple and as light touch as you possibly can. And it's just a focus point. Transfer it from your 12-month planner into your calendar to make sure that you're getting stuff achieved every single week, every single month. And that's what it's all about. But thanks, Saab. And I saw your question about how to download it. So I've
got it already. I got it. I figured it out.
Amazing.
I asked and I'll try to figure it out regardless. My question, so You know how in the beginning you said you don't like New Year's resolutions, and I used to once upon a time do them, and I've completely sworn off them as well. I just they're driving nuts. But then this is kind of what we're doing as well. I mean, okay, it's not the new year, new you kind of thing, but it's still making goals, making plans, setting the bar high. And then the whole thing about that is previously I used to set them and then they wouldn't be achieved and feel frustrated. Okay, I wouldn't give up, week 3, but at the same time, I still think, well, it's all nice and fine saying I'd like this, but actually doesn't happen. So then it's almost like a sinking feeling where you have failed yourself in a way because you set the bar high. So how is this, in a sense, different? It's still the same principle of setting goals, creating a vision board, putting out there in the universe what you want. And as much as I get it, at the same time, it's also kind of contradicting what you said earlier.
That's a good question. I know where you're coming from. It's absolutely fine. So you've got a structured way of doing it. You've got a structured, templated way of doing it. It's not writing on a scrap of paper and forget where that paper's gone. You've got a proper formatted way of doing it. And what I'd suggest you do is probably once a week for the next quarter is look at this at least once a week. I want you to look at your vision board every day. First thing in the morning, last thing at night, in the middle of the day, whenever you've got chance. That's why I keep it on my desktop. It's always on my desktop. And I'll flick it open, have a quick look and think, yes, Mexico. I can't wait to go to Mexico. So it's refreshing in my mind that I know that I'm working towards that. It's my motivation. You want to be looking at it on a regular basis. The problems with resolutions is we write them, they're in our head. So you juggle them in your head, which is stressful because everything else is going on in your life. You're holding all these things in your head. And also, we're not the same as the average person writing resolutions. With all our training and backgrounds and our coaching, we're different. So you are going to be a level ahead of that anyway. And your performance and everything you're doing with your coaching clients will make the difference. And this is a great exercise to do with your clients. If you haven't done it with your clients already, you're very welcome to copy it, replicate it, and do something very similar with your clients. I'm probably going to plan in the 2024 session for the very, very beginning week of January next year, or maybe even this. I'm just thinking out loud. I might even do it in December, just because I've left it probably a little bit too late now, because I'm so passionate about all that new year, new you shit that I see beginning part of the year. It turns me off, and I just switch off until it's gone. I was like, right, we'll do something proper about it now. But it's a much deeper way of looking at it than just standard resolutions. And again, like the point I said, you can set yourself new goals and tasks any hour of the day, any hour of any day of the year. You haven't got to wait until a certain date to get this done. It's down to us. We can do it. We can achieve it. Does that answer it?
Yeah. And I just said, I need congruency. It didn't align.
Yeah.
And I know SMART goals, and that's what I use in NLP for my clients. In terms
Absolutely.
Of putting the goal and stepping it back. So it's similar in that sense. And yes, thank you. The templates are amazing. Really good. Great.
Cool. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. So, we've got any more questions? That wasn't a test, Angela. I know you can start thinking of other questions for me. So, next steps are, I want to see your completed vision boards this week. So, not this week. Get it done over the next few days and share it with me. It is Thursday. It's Thursday night for me, Thursday morning for you guys. More than happy to go through your vision boards with you and start formulating how we're gonna get there. And we'll be covering it in our program and coaching and whatever else we're going through. And that's basically it. Vision boards are really, really important. Get your LDP plan done. Get your the 12-month plan done. Get your vision board done. That's the most important thing. And then share them with me. Doesn't have to be shared to the group. You can share them to the group if you want to, or share them to me individually. You know how to get in contact with me. And that is it. Always appreciate your time. Some of you obviously in an hour or so.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you, Rich. Thank you so much. Lovely to see you all.
You're very
nice
welcome.
to see you, Kate.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye all. Have a great rest of the day. I will see you all very shortly, and no doubt we'll be in contact.